First thing we need to learn, I think we have learned in many ways the hard way, is to manage uncertainty and embrace change. And when Frank was talking about the type of technology that we are going to find in a few years from now, that technology has not even been invented. But we need to be ready to embrace it, and we need to be ready to work with it. And of course, managing uncertainty is very difficult. It's relatively difficult to manage certainty. But I think one of the second aspects that we, in our businesses, need to focus in is innovation, no doubt. We definitively need to look into new business models, new ways of doing things. We need to have renewed visions and leadership, but we need to do that on an ongoing basis. We need to move more into selling experiences more than just products or services that become commodities. We need to differentiate ourselves, and we need to appeal to emotions, and that's what... Of course, we need to improve our efficiencies. We need to learn, and we've been learning this probably in the last years, and we will continue to work in that way. I mean, the times where we had big budgets and that we had lots of resources and we could do lots of things are gone. We're talking about airlines and the way airlines were operating like 10, 15 years ago, and how they operate today. How are they going to operate tomorrow? Basically, what we need is reduce costs, which means do more with less. And we need to compete more intelligently. I think we need to be able to identify more market spaces or new market spaces and not try to do more of the same. I think there is this theory that many of you are aware of the blue ocean strategy. Identify blue oceans where we can swim in nice, clear waters as opposed to swimming in bloody oceans, bloody in the sense of being red because competition is very aggressive. Actually, capital resources are not as scarce around the world as human resources are. There's much more capital. I mean, the capital only needs to be identified and needs to be offered proper opportunities, but the capital is there. Human resources, in many occasions, are more difficult to identify. And I know in booming, developing areas, and Dubai is one of them, one of their main concerns is not the money to invest in new development. They have it. Their main concern is who is going to run that, who is going to manage, and how they're going to do it. And we, of course, have to have a passionate position against bureaucracy. And that's probably also what Jeffrey was referring to when sometimes I confront some of the bureaucracy that we find in certain international organizations. And I'm not necessarily referring to UNWTO, but in any international organization, in many businesses, for that sake. I mean, it's not only international organizations. Bureaucracy is something that we find all over. Therefore, I think we need to be very passionate in everything, but definitively about fighting bureaucracy. And we have to have a crystal clear understanding of brand power. I think brands are becoming more and more powerful. We see that in the hotel business. The hotel business has a big challenge, which is fighting the big brands. And I think one of our members, affiliate members in UNWTO, IHRA, is actually working on certain aspects on that front that I'm not going to go in detail. And then last but not least, I think businesses, of course, need to look at their profit lines. They need to look at their bottom line. They need to look at their EBITDA, their return on investment. All that is fine, because that's why they're a business. But without neglecting the contribution to the community. We believe that successful businesses in the future are going to be those that will become more sensitive to the society's needs and what the society is concerned about. Society was not so concerned about the environment 20 years ago. It is today. And that society will be eager to consume products or services or experiences from businesses, from companies that actually behave in a sensitive way towards sustainability, for instance. And the 4 pillars of sustainability, with the third one that particularly Jeffrey is adding on a regular basis. We need to work on sustainability on the environment, therefore the businesses have to contribute to that. Social sustainability, economic sustainability, and the last one, climatic. As we heard, the businesses, transportation, hotels will definitively suffer tremendously from climate change, probably more than any other industry. But of course, there are certain things that we can also do to mitigate that situation. And that has to be in the working plans of most businesses. And of course, poverty alleviation as well. It's one of the programs of this organization. I think those businesses that understand these needs will definitely have more success and not only focus on the bottom line. Or by saying this, I think the bottom line and their EBITDA contribution to the shareholders will probably be more efficient if they also look at these aspects.